And the first person I'd like to introduce you to is Diana Anderson. She is the VP of Coaching for PH360. And Diana, if you just want to say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Reset Your Mindset. And we are going to help you today really, literally change what you're doing and make a huge difference. So thanks for joining us.
Great. And Diana, you want to introduce Cam?
And the way we're going to do this special transformation for you is we have with us today, all the way from Australia, a very special person, Dr. Cam. Dr. Cam has a system that he uses with his clients all the time. It's a very successful system he's been using for a while, and we are lucky today because we get to go through this system that usually only Cam's clients get to do with him, but today you and me and Jules, we all get to do it together with Dr. Cam to help reset your 2016 into something really powerful and great. So please welcome Dr. Cam.
Thanks very much, team. It's great to be here. I don't know. Are we going to kick straight off into this, or have we got a couple more intros to do? Kick straight off.
Intro.
Right on. Let's do this. Okay, great. So I'm really excited to be here. I've been working with PH360 for around about 18 months now, which has been really exciting. And I've been very lucky to be one of the only people in Australia to have it that early. And as a result, it's completely changed my practice. I'm an accredited dietitian and also an exercise physiologist, and it's opened my eyes to a different way, and it's actually allowed me to get a lot more into the behavioural side of things because a lot of the technical aspects of health are provided in a really beautiful way with the outputs of PH360. So as a result of that, and as a result of my own kind of journey over the last little while, I've been trying to find something that can help people place greater importance on their health, because ultimately it comes down to importance. So to really get this whole thing happening, I'm going to use a presentation for today, and we're going to take Diana and Jules through that. So I just, and then there's not going to be a whole lot of my face time, but I'm sure that you're going to get sick of me after about 2 minutes anyway, and my presentation is much more attractive. So we're going to do that, and I just want you to follow through. There is a sheet as well that if you don't have it right now, you'll be able to download it that helps you step through this process. It's very brief, very simple, but you'll see at the end of this process today that it is incredibly simple, and it's just a matter of how you apply. So I'm just wondering how I do a screen share here. How can I do that? Oh, hold on. Oh, yep, got it. I'm on. All right. We'll do the Prezi. Share. Okay. So can everyone see the presentation now?
Yes.
Excellent. So I thought it was apt to be using some clouds because we are going to be reaching well above those with the types of things that we're going to be doing today. Okay, so without further ado, let's crack in. Ultimately, the major sticking point that I've found is that you can have all the most amazing science on the planet, but if you don't have the reason to make any change, then often the change doesn't occur. And as a junior dietitian and an exercise professional, I was just a house of science, and I would give lots of scientific information, and because that convinced my crusader mind with all that evidence, I assumed that it would do the same to everyone else as well. I now know different. But I also realized that even for crusaders, they still need a drive, they still need a motivation, and this still works very effectively for them too if you can use it in their language. So the major thing that we want to start with is it important enough? This is the biggest principle that I want you to take out today. And we're going to go through this with Jules and Diane as well. They're going to have a great time doing this. Is it important enough? Is the thing that you're trying to change actually important to you? And the question I would ask, and this is something that I want Diana and Jules to have a think about, is there a behavior you've wanted to change that would improve your health, but you haven't taken action currently? Have any of you, or have either of you, have you got a behavior right now that you feel like you haven't pulled the trigger on?
Sure. I haven't lately been attending to more weight-based exercise. Everything I've been doing is bike riding and yoga. And
Okay.
I had done it in the past, but I haven't been doing it lately.
Cool.
But I have a gym, right? That I can go to. I just haven't been going to the gym.
Okay, great. And Jules?
Oh, well, for me, I have so many that I don't know how to pick one. So let's start with I'll go with and everybody's going to get to share in this with me because I'm going to be producing a video of my experience as we go through our 6-week coaching program that's starting tomorrow. For all of you who haven't signed up for that, you might want to sign up for the 6-week coaching that Diana and I are doing starting tomorrow, and I'm going to be going through that with everybody. And so one of the things that I need to do is to start exercising. So that is definitely something I need to do.
Okay, they're both awesome, both exercise-based, and that's excellent. So what are the normal reasons why you haven't done this in the past, do you think? Diana.
Well, I went down to the gym about 6 weeks ago, and it smelled so bad like sweat. I just walked straight out the door, and that's the closest place I have to the equipment. So it wasn't attractive to me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there any other reasons? I mean, surely there's other ways you could do some exercise. Is there any other reasons why you haven't partaken?
Well, I do bike ride and I do yoga every day. But I haven't been doing things that are, maybe uncomfortable or not as much fun. Like, doing weights is less fun for me. Then I love yoga. I could do that 3 times a day.
Okay, so it's
an
access to that equipment at the moment, which is your barrier.
Well, I have access. I just don't really want to do it.
Okay, that's fair enough. We call that lack of motivation. Yeah.
Okay.
And Jules?
Cam, when we're speaking, if you mute, then it will, make it quieter. So everybody, while we're doing this, while Diana and I are going through this experience, I want you all to be thinking about, for your own self, what is it for you? That is the thing that you would like to change. And so because we're all doing this together. Cam's just using us as the guinea pigs here. So, okay, so why don't I exercise is lots of reasons. There's, I'm working all the time. I'm working more than normal, like I work a lot. And I'm traveling a lot. And so it makes it more challenging when I travel. And then I never have liked exercising my whole entire life. I don't enjoy it at all. I don't, like people get that good feeling whenever they exercise. I don't get that good feeling, and so I haven't really been able to get myself over the hump to do it.
Okay, cool. I'm just trying to get this back. What can you guys see right now? Probably the wrong thing.
We see slides.
You're seeing slides? Yeah. This one? You're seeing this one now? Perfect.
A whole bunch. We see a whole bunch of slides.
Yeah.
Has it changed now?
Nope.
Radio. I don't know what's happened. I think when I tried to mute, I messed something up. So hold on, just give me 2 seconds, and I'll just get us back online. Sorry about this.
So you guys add into the chat box some of the things that you're working on. Put in there what it is. For me, it's I could have said 10 different things. So be sure and put in the chat box what you're working on in your life.
Now we see one slide, Cam.
Good stuff. And that's excellent, guys. Absolutely, you've given me a bunch of good reasons as to why you haven't done it right now and why you haven't been. Ultimately, the example I want to give you is that everyone wears clothes. And I know that sounds a little bit strange. However, it's actually got the lesson that we need for this whole thing. Right now, I'm sure that you're dressed. I'm sure that you've put clothes on, unless you're at home and you like not wearing clothes. There's a good chance that you're going to have clothes on right now. And I don't know anyone in my personal circle and in my extended circle who actually doesn't get dressed before they walk out the door. Okay? They could be running late. They could have no clean clothes. I mean, that's a classic for my younger self. Their pants might be too tight. You know, anything might be happening. But ultimately, like, our pants might be incredibly small and very uncomfortable, but we will definitely put them on before we walk outside the house. Okay? And I know this seems like a fairly strange example. It's like, why is this guy talking about some nude guy on a computer? This is the lesson that we need to take from it. The reason why we wear clothes is because it's important enough. We have social norms that tell us being late is not as bad as being naked. So if we're running late, we're going to take time to put clothes on, even shower, even make ourselves look nice, all of which is wasting valuable time, which is going to make us more late again. But we'd consider that being late and being dressed is better than being late and nude. Okay? And so putting clothes on in the morning is just a learned behavior. Eating good food is just a learned behavior. Doing exercise is just a learned behavior, except your value system right now doesn't place it important enough so that you actually do it. Okay? So, you know, these are the, and I would challenge everyone, and I challenge all of your and I'm going to call them excuses as to why you don't exercise, particularly if you know that there's a behavior that you want to do that you know is going to benefit you and you don't take action on it. All the excuses in the world ultimately add up to you don't think it's important enough. Because if it was as important as wearing clothes, you would do it every day and you wouldn't miss it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, yes. Okay. And our screen is black, Cam, just so you know.
Oh, the screen's black.
Yeah.
Screen sharing's killing me. All right. I'll just reset it. Screen share. Can you see it now?
We see a bunch of slides.
There should be one slide up. Okay. So this is totally not good. All right.
So fun.
I'll just do the entire screen. That should work. And then, whoa.
Hey, Cam, take a sec, and Diana, let us know when you see the screen up on your screen, because I can see it on mine for some odd reason. Everybody, be sure and click down below. You can click and see on who you'd like to look at this moment, because there's 3 little boxes at the bottom, and you can click on Diana or I, but I would suggest clicking on Cameron right now since he's the one who's going to be having the slides up, and so just click on Cameron at the bottom. And I'm loving that you guys are sharing some of your areas that you really want to get unstuck in, because we are going to get unstuck here. This is Reset Your Mindset. So be sure to put that in the chat box. Can you see the screen now, Diana?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so peeps can see the screen. That works great.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to do any more adjusting. I'm just going to keep going like this. Okay, so step 1 in this whole process is determine what is important to you. And we're going to step through some really cool things that help you actually find out what's important to you. Second is a very, very important thing, and that's to understand the principle of pleasure versus pain. This is how our whole operating system is designed, and it's going to give you some real insight into how you're actually making your decisions about your health behaviors. So, step 1, having a purpose that matters. So everyone can see the lioness here. You can see the intensity on her face. Diana and Jules, what do you think the purpose of this lion, what do you think her purpose is right now?
Eat.
Yeah, she looks like she's like focused on some prey or something that she's going to pounce on.
Totally. Absolutely, that looks like her purpose. You know, and it would be very easy to think, and this is how we often think as well. It's like the first thing that we've got to do is do the thing in front of us, which is kill this awesome looking thick, what do we call that? A gazelle? We're going to call it a gazelle. Antelope. something like that. Now that's definitely the aim of that action that she's taking, but ultimately her purpose is the survival of her pride. So there is no way a lioness in her right mind would go against a pair of horns like that if she didn't have to. But the choice she has is, I want my pride to survive. In order to do that, I need to put my life at risk to actually go and attack something that could kill me. But the rewards for it are great, and ultimately it's what my purpose is to provide food for my family so that they can then grow their own families, etc., etc. So while it looks on the surface like her purpose is to kill an antelope, her purpose is actually driven by something far deeper and far greater and far more meaningful, which is actually the protection of her pride. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great. And you can still see the slides okay?
Yep, they look great.
Okay. So, and this is the problem with a lot of goals, is that we start with the what. This is where we often start. You know, we go, okay, I want to lose 10 kilos. 10 kilos is a what. It's something that you want to do, but it's not necessarily the motivation of why you want to. Often a what is, I want to run a marathon. That's a what. The why is completely different. The how is typically where people fall down with knowledge, and the why is the ultimate reason for action taken. So to break this down a little bit more, if we take the lioness example, her why is the survival of her pride. The what is to provide food for her family. The how is to actually go out and kill that antelope. Similarly, for health behaviours, we've got our why typically is I want to feel great, I want to feel energized, I want to feel excited. The how is I've got to do that by eating the right food each day, going out and doing the exercise that's best for me, going out and socializing with the people that put me in the best state of mind. That's the how. And then the what is I want to lose 10 kilos. Really, the driving force of this is going to come from your why. And if you want to do a bit more reading and a bit more understanding of this, there's a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. And I'm happy to provide these details afterwards as well. But understanding that people's motivations don't come from, I want to lose 10 kilos. Normally, the motivation is, I want to feel like I think I'm going to feel 10 kilos lighter. If that makes sense. It's people don't go out and say, I want to exercise as my ultimate goal. That's not the goal of exercise. The goal of exercise is to feel terrific, to have great physical function, to be in terrific health, and to have great mental clarity, which exercise can provide some people. So it's not the fact that you absolutely love going out and doing 30 minutes of walking or weight training or anything like that. If you're focused on that, then often you won't find your motivation lasts too long. But if your why is built on something that actually means something to you, and that's exactly what we're going to go through today, then you're going to have a much better chance of success. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
All right, that's nice. Okay, so we're going to head in, and this is exercise number 1 of today. So what is your why? We have to find out what this why is, okay? And I'm going to get you guys, if you're comfortable, to share. It might be something within yourself, like it might be, I want great confidence, I want lots of happiness, I want energy, I want to be high on life. Or it could be something greater than yourself. You could be, I want to be an excellent example to my kids. I want to have more energy for my partner at the end of the day. I want to be able to give more to my work. I want to contribute in a better way to the world, and I'll do that by being, a happier, more energized person. And it could be, family-oriented. It could be, brain-related, and it could purely be, feeling great about yourself and feeling confident, like the bloke on the right. Okay, so Jules and Diana, what I'd like you to do now is actually use this little exercise to determine what your why is. And do you guys have an idea of what your big why is right now?
I do.
Okay, Diana, share it with us if you're comfortable.
Mm. It's very personal, but I live by the beach and I want to look good in my bathing suit on the beach. I want a beach body.
Okay, great. So the beach body is the what? When you let's say
not the why. I want to feel comfortable. The why would be I want to feel comfortable on the beach in my bathing suit.
Excellent. And we're gonna build that out a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. And Jules?
Okay, I think I'm going to run into the same thing that Diana did, and, because I really want more energy, and I also want to, like, you know, as I'm aging, I want to be like my most healthy self possible, and I want to feel, I want to like have I just want everything being really working and all of that, and then ultimately, this is one of the whats I think though, ultimately I would love to have, I know this is really personal, you guys.
Yeah.
I have to make some time first, of course, but I would love to have a man in my life. So.
Right on. That's awesome. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, guys. That is terrific. And I know there's like 500 people on the line right now and many more as it goes out to the greater wide web. But, you know, this kind of honesty and this kind of transparency, now you're accountable to 500 people, which is a beautiful thing. So, okay, so the way to flesh this out a little bit is, what does my life look like in 6 months? Okay, and there's two ways to think about this, and this is the way we really get to understand the feeling that you guys want. And like, let's say we take Diana's example. I want a beach body. Now, obviously, that's an objective. That's like certain sizes, but she wants to feel comfortable. Now, rather than just saying I want to feel comfortable, what I want you to do is I want you to actually sit in that body right now. You're out on the beach. You've just walked onto the beach. You're in that body that you want, and I want you to describe how you feel, and I want you to write those words down.
Okay, so everybody at home, that's you guys too. Describe for yourself what it is that you want, and write this down. Just as Cam's giving Diana the directions, do the exercise yourself. Go run and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and let's do it together.
Nice. And I want you to really sit in that feeling. Pretend you are already there. What are the things that you feel? And Jules, obviously you're doing the same thing.
I am.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to assume everyone at home is doing that. And what I'm going to do right now, if you guys are comfortable sharing personal stuff, that's awesome, but I'm also happy to plug in a case study here and use the case study going forward. It's up to you guys.
Do people on the call want to see a case study or want to hear from Jules and I?
It'll take a couple minutes for them to respond. So, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I'll do it because, I mean, if we want, because it is an example, you know, but I'm happy to do it either way, Cam.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it too.
What are these feelings that you get when you place yourself in that position?
So for me, I feel confident, energized, attractive, fit, and happy.
Awesome. That is terrific. They're great words. Excellent. Jules?
Yeah, I felt like I was more in flow, that I felt more sexy. I felt like I had more confidence also, and lots of energy, just amazing energy.
Excellent. That's terrific. Okay. So with those words in mind, that's really, really great. And they're exactly the kind of words that we need. Just imagine that the coach did everything that they could. PH 360 was everything that it needed to be. The advice that you'd been given was bang on the mark, but you just didn't turn up for yourself for the next 6 months. That you didn't do the behaviors, you didn't get the motivation, you didn't do the activities that you know you need to do to get there. How would you feel about yourself in 6 months if you knew that that was the outcome in the future? And
So we write that down.
I want you to write those words down. It's very important that you write these ones down too. They're just as important as the first lot.
Cam, what are we writing down again?
Oh, we're writing down the words that if you didn't turn up for yourself, you didn't do the behaviours.
Oh,
Um,
how would I feel?
how would you feel if you knew that in 6 months you were going to be at the same level of fitness with the same behaviours and feeling like with the same body with no improvement at all, or even a little bit worse?
Right.
I know what I was blocking that out.
Totally. Yeah, and you know I'm actually going to talk about that phenomenon just there.
Okay.
So I wrote mine down.
So, you ready, Diana?
I would feel disappointed.
Yeah.
Lower energy, less confident, and like I settled. I just kind of gave up and settled for something less.
Yeah, very mediocre.
Mhm.
Jules?
Yeah, for me, I would feel similar to how I feel right now. And honestly, it's I think that for me that it's it's worse because I really feel like I should be exercising just to be a good example. So it's the word that I wrote down was like, I don't even want to say it. It's kind of like being, not real. It's just like it's all just blah 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 instead of what's really going on.
Yeah, not authentic.
Yeah, inauthentic. That's the right word. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, awesome. So you've got 2 great lists of words. Hopefully you've all got lists of words at home, wherever you are in the world, because they become very, very important over the next couple of slides. Okay. So, moving on. So in 6 months of action, right? And you can actually draw a picture like this if you want to, or you can just follow along. You want to put your words next to this photo. So I'm sure that a mental image of where you're going to be in 6 months with all those great words and great feelings would have come up, and you pop those words next to that picture.
Okay.
Just in terms of this slide, just imagine that they're there. And we know that positive behaviours are going to create this result. Similarly, 6 months without action, you pop your words there and you know that it's not going to be as good as what you want, and we know that poor behaviours are going to create this result. Okay, now this is where the juice is. The body always moves towards pleasure and away from pain. And normally when we're making a decision on the next 5 minutes. We're not making a decision on the next 6 months. Okay? And in that 5 minutes, we have got a decision between doing the good thing or doing the good thing for our health or doing the poor thing for our health. But because we're only thinking about what's going to help you over the next 5 minutes, it actually messes with what we consider as pleasure and what we consider as pain. Okay? So, and this is totally not prompted and it wasn't organized at all, but the example I have is actually an exercise example, which is perfect. So normally, when you've got a decision of getting home and going for a walk, and you only need 20 minutes to get some sort of benefit. I know that 30 to 45 minutes for a lot of biotypes is really, really important, but 20 minutes will still do a great job. When you get home from a long day and you're tired, you'll go, okay, I've got the decision of walking now or doing some exercise or not. And let's just say that you've got 2 plates in front of you at you've got 2 paths, just like you can see on the screen. One, the easy choice is to take the couch, which is going to be pleasurable, which is going to not take any effort whatsoever, or getting takeaway food or something like that. Sitting on the couch and relaxing after a really, really hard day sounds very pleasurable. Absolutely. Whereas getting dressed, putting your shoes on, walking out the door, and then having to exert mental effort in that short 5-minute window that you're thinking about, that is a lot of effort. Whether you're walking or jogging or even making the time to prep your 5 smiley foods, there is a heap of effort involved with convincing yourself that this is a good idea. Does that make sense to everyone so far?
Yes.
Totally. And you know what? Even we'll go into this later on, I'm sure. Not this session right now, but at some point in the future, we'll talk about how your brain makes these decisions. And at the end of a long day, you're out of good decision-making ability unless you've put lots of good food into your body and you've got a good general level of fitness as well. So there is effort in that 5 minutes. This is normally where we make these decisions in a 5-minute block. And that's where we fall down, because in that moment, it's more important that we have pleasure rather than pain. Okay, now, what's interesting about this, and this is from a book called The Slight Edge, which is written by Jeff Olson. Once again, I'll send out some details on this. The Slight Edge. And what he talks about is the accumulation of behaviours. Ultimately, your body is not made up of one session or one couch sitting session or, you know, one bad meal but what happens is that when you start repeating behaviors, they gather momentum. And the example that he uses is lily pads covering a pond. Now, if you look at one lily pad, the interesting thing about a lily pad is that they reproduce one lily pad overnight each. So at the beginning, when you first take that first step and do some exercise, you know, you only get one extra lily pad in the pond, and really our optimal health, our 6-month result, is actually filling up the whole pond. So you do one session and you go, I felt nothing, I'm not feeling better, in fact I actually feel worse, and you know, I ate all these good foods and I've still got weight on, like why isn't the weight coming off straight away, or why aren't my symptoms clearing up? But then you do it again, and you've got the power of 2 lily pads now, which make another 2. Then you do it again, and you've got 4 lily pads making, and then you've got 8 to make 16, and then you've got 16 making another 32, and then you've got the 32 making 64. And what we know that after about 4 to 6 weeks of doing a behavior, you are going to get so much momentum that it's going to make a huge difference. And what you've got to consider as well is that tomorrow you might do an exercise session that improves your health by 0.3%. But if you do that each day for a year, your health will have improved 100%. And if you consider, oh, geez, my health can be in a 100% better place than it is right now, that is a huge change. But you've got to recognize that these things happen through accumulation of behaviors. Now, what is interesting about that is that if you accumulate poor behaviors, you are going to accumulate the 6-month outcome that you want. Okay? And so now what I want you to do, you've got the 2 paths in front of you. Okay? Your 5-minute decision is, oh, okay, exercise is going to be hard. It's going to be exertive. It's going to be tough. It means I have to get dressed. It means I have to change my night. Or I can sit on the couch and really enjoy yourself. Of course, every single time you get home, you are going to choose the pleasurable one. Okay, now, this is where the reframe happens. When you get home, the first thing you want to do is look at your list of words. If someone comes up to you, Diana, and says, okay, Diana, now, if you go for a 20-minute weight session or a 30-minute resistance training session and you can suck it up and not worry about the smell of the gym, you're going to get ultimate confidence, you're going to feel attractive, you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel fit, you're going to feel exactly how you want to feel about yourself. But if you don't go to the gym, then what you're going to feel straight away is disappointed, frustrated, angry, mediocre, like you've wasted your time, like you're not a good example. Now, if those 2 decisions were put in front of you, which one are you going to choose?
The one that has the confidence and the energy.
I would hope so. I would hope so. So, and this is where it's at. Ultimately, going for that exercise session once and then doing it again and then doing it again is the thing that creates confidence, is the thing that creates fitness, is the thing that creates that feeling of attractiveness, is the feeling that you're in control of your health. So while we're only thinking in 5-minute windows, our whole life is made of 5-minute windows, and because we constantly keep making 5-minute decisions, we never make them with that greater perspective of what we're actually in it for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep, cool. Okay. Now, this is the other really interesting thing as well, And this is where it gets really confronting if it hasn't been confronting enough already. And that is that we are totally one-eyed about our behaviours. Okay, let's say that we set the goal of exercising 5 times a week. We're not doing any exercise at the moment, and we went through the process. We went through this process, and we're going, right, I'm going to exercise 5 times a week because I know that that's going to provide me the thing that I want, and I desperately want it. Okay, first week you do 1 exercise session. And the other 4 times, just like, it's only my first week, so I'm just going to be, I'm too busy, I just didn't get around to it. What we're really good at is we're good at celebrating the fact that we did 1 walk. And I would say, I'm the first person to say that any improvement is a great improvement, but what we need is actually some serious accountability to our goals. You want to make them realistic so you know you can do them, but then you need to be very honest with yourself as to what you actually choose. So, yes, I went for my walk. I got 1 awesome walk in, and that's improved my health by 0.3%. But 4 times, I actively chose to feel frustrated, angry at myself, mediocre, like I'm actually choosing this. We don't often think that if I don't go for a walk, I actively want to be, of a greater weight and less fit. Okay, but that is actually our choice. Just like we choose, I want to be fitter, I'm going to go and exercise. The way you choose to be less fit, the way you choose to be less confident, the way you choose to be more frustrated is to not do that behavior. Now, I'm going to get even more confronting than that and say, imagine, and some of my clients use their family as motivation, and that's absolutely beautiful. And what they say is, I'll be a great example for my kids, and then I'll ask the question, if you don't do this behavior, how are your kids going to feel? And they're going to say, well, they're going to see me as a bad example, and then often a fair bit of emotion comes up at this time because people's families are incredibly important to them, and setting a good example and being that person that they want to be is very important. Then I say, okay, well, the next time that you choose not to go walking or choose not to exercise, I want you to go to someone who this actually matters to, and I want you to tell them, hey, mate, we'll call Charlie, my son. Hey, Charlie, today I decided that I wanted to be angry, I wanted to be less fit, I wanted to be frustrated, because I don't have the effort to put the time in to be more energized for you. Imagine if you had to have that conversation every time you decided not to stick to one of your goals. Before the words come out of your mouth, you would be putting your shoes on and you'd be walking out the door.
Oh, okay, but what about for people that don't have that somebody that they would need to say that to? Yeah, to be accountable.
Yep. Normally, if you're absolutely by yourself, then you've got to have an incredible amount of accountability. But if you're working with a coach, you can use the coach. But it's just a matter of getting that list of words, putting it in front of your face and saying, what outcome do I want here?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
yep.
Did you want to add something, Jules?
Nope. No, I just saying yep. Yep. Yeah. Because it's so crazy. I mean, okay, yeah, do I want that or that? That is so real. I mean, I'd never look at it that way. That is awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely, and this is what can sometimes be the absolute turning point in some people's journeys. I've had clients, and it's just because they really bought into the process. I've had clients who have irreversibly changed from the moment that we pose that question to their family. They see the world in a completely different way, and they see what their choices, what kind of impact that's going to have long term, and their brain's taken out of that 5-minute space. So I'm going to bring the intensity down a little bit, just because I know that's the really confronting part of this whole thing. Okay, so understanding that your health is an accumulation of your past behaviors. So the way you want to be thinking about this is commit to the behavior just for today, and then every morning you wake up and you go, I'm just going to commit for today. Because when we start thinking about, I have to be confident and fit and all that stuff in 6 months, there's so many exercise sessions that I need to do before then, all you can worry about is right now. That's the only thing you have control over. And you can read books on mindfulness, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It is just about being in the moment and doing the thing that you need to do right now. That's all you need to worry about. So rather than thinking like, oh, I need to run this marathon runners don't even think like that. All they think about is, for the next week, I've got to get 3 sessions. For today, I've got to get 5 kilometers out. Okay? And when you think, I've just got to run 5 kilometers, and when you think the step before that, I've just got to put my shoes on, and I've got to allocate the time, I've got to put it in my diary, really the only thing you have to do is put it in your diary, and the rest will take care of itself. Okay? So rather than trying to think that you're trying to tackle the whole 6 months every time that you're exercising or every time that you're eating, just be thinking about, what am I doing right now? And do you have to be perfect? Well, what I would like to do is to reframe perfection. And I'm going to do that using the word called Kaizen. Kaizen is a absolutely spectacular word. It's a Japanese word, and it's the Japanese word for perfection. Have you guys heard this Kaizen word before?
No.
Oh, it is going to knock your socks off. So, Kaizen is the state of continual improvement. The Japanese word for perfection is something that is always being improved. Okay? Normally, we think perfection is this set criteria. Okay? We think that if I tick all these boxes, if I'm 50 kilos, if I'm can run this much, if I can do that, if I've got this much money in my bank, if I've got these types of friends, if I've got this type of partner, then only then will I be perfect. But actually, that's crap, because ultimately that world doesn't exist. What does exist is the state of continual improvement. If every day you are waking up and there is some aspect of your life that is improving slightly, and you have many aspects to choose from, then you are perfect. You are doing everything that you possibly can with the moment that you have, and the only moment that you have is right now. So rather than getting hung up on reaching this state of perfection, what you need to do is be thinking, am I improving today? Because that is the true meaning of perfection. And Japanese people know, like particularly when it comes to this philosophy of life, they get it way more than we would than Western culture normally does. Okay? So that is a massive principle that I want you to insert into your mindset is, am I improving? And there's actually a box at the bottom of the sheet saying, what is the aspect of my life today that's going to embody the Kaizen principle? And that is, what is the thing that I'm going to do to improve just a little bit today? Okay, and this is successful for athletes to beginners. It might be that you're doing 0 exercise. It might be that you then take on some exercise. It might be that you're trying to go for the Olympics. Well, the Olympics is 4 years away. Well, it's actually 6 months away now. But there's still a whole lot of work to be done in the next 6 months to make sure they're peak, but they have to take it one training at a time. If they try and do all the training for the whole 6 months in one day, they'll get overwhelmed. So thinking about things, just am I improving a little bit today? That's very, very important. And if you miss that and you're constantly chasing this illusion of perfection, then you'll constantly be disappointed and you'll never feel like you're actually happy or at that 6 month place. And the beautiful thing about this as well is that when you wake up and when you're improving things each day, you are actually where you need to be in 6 months. So in 6 months, you're going to look and say, right, how do I want to feel for the rest of the day or for the rest of the year? Are you okay there, Jules?
Yeah, I was just doing a happy dance.
Okay. So regardless of whether let's say that you want to lose 20 kilos as part of your goal, part of your what, whether you're 80 kilos or 70 kilos, or even if you put on 10 and you're 90 kilos, you have to wake up and do the behavior. That behavior doesn't change. When you get to 60 kilos, you have to act like a person who has a 60 kilo weight, which is the behaviors that you've done to get to 60 kilos. So regardless of where you are perfect if you are improving one aspect of your life. Okay? Really, really important, and it's going to take a lot of pressure off you to think, I need to be there right now. Ultimately, you just need to be doing something that makes you feel good, and then if you're embodying the confidence that comes along with that, you'll actually start feeling more confident before the 6 months, which is great. So do the behavior. Then, how do you know when you're on track? And the reason why I'm sort of moving through is because I know we've only got an hour for this session. How do you know when you're on track? Sign number one, it becomes a challenge, okay? The path to success is not a straight line or a smooth road, okay? Know that if you are going to try and change something which is going to reshape the fabric that is you, and you're going to turn into a more successful version of you, know that you are going to come across the challenges that have kept you where you are right now, okay? What I see with people all the time is as soon as they get some momentum, they go, oh my God, I'm finding this really hard, and they start putting up all the barriers that they had when they first started, because now the thing that's coming up for you is the thing that stopped you from already doing this before this talk. If you didn't have barriers, then you'd be exercising. There wouldn't be any behaviors that you couldn't do and that you wouldn't be doing. So as soon as you start trying to change things, your body doesn't want you to change. It likes being stable. So it's going to put up lots of barriers that you then have to grow through. And it's only through beating those barriers do you actually get the strength to continue and then to be better. Because when you become a fitter, more successful, a happier version of yourself, you're going to be faced with bigger challenges, and you're going to need the strength of those previous challenges and overcoming those to actually tackle them going forward. So if it's become a challenge, then you know exactly that you're on the right path, okay? And some part of you will want to stop. And this is when you know you're on track. When your body goes, oh, there's just a part of my system that doesn't like this at all, at that point you go, holy hell, this is like exactly the place where I need to be. And at this time, that's when you have to go back to your list of words. That's when you have to go back and redefine what the next 6 months is going to look like and make it more powerful and make the negatives even more negative and more destructive, so that you've got a really clear decision making, because you're going to need more power to overcome this challenge you've come up against. Okay? So, and this is a nice little quote here from a school teacher. There are two roads in life, a high road and a low road. The high road is harder, but it takes you somewhere worth going. The low road is easy, but it's circular. You eventually find yourself back where you started. Your life won't get better, and you won't get better on the low road. And that perfectly sums up exactly what we're talking about right here. It's a challenge to be better. And if it wasn't a challenge, then everyone would be doing it, and it wouldn't be so special. Okay? So know that if it's difficult, you are on the right track. I cannot express that enough. Okay. So, I think. So find your why. I've actually got one more slide to go. I'm going to. I think it'll come up after this. Yeah, it will. Okay. Sweet. So what are you going to start your improvement with? This is when we're going to fill in that final box on your sheet. You've got 6 different categories, well, even 7 if you go through what I'm about to do now, that you can try and improve some aspect of your life today. And this is the beauty of PH360. It has all of your little guidelines right there waiting for you to implement. And you don't have to implement it all at once. You just have to implement a little bit each day and constantly improve. And just to keep it exciting, particularly for those activators out there who need lots of variety, just pick one different thing each day or each week, so you're not in a monotony of trying to just tackle one thing at a time. Okay.
Cam,
so, yes.
You know, there's a lot of people on the call right now that are going to be in our Reset Your... we're in the Reset Your Mindset, and then there's people in this call that are going to be part of the 6-week coaching that we're starting tomorrow. So if this is going to be an amazing tool to use during the 6-week coaching.
Absolutely. Well, this is where it all starts. You know, if you go into a coaching session and you've already got motivation, then all you need to know is the technical information of how it gets done. That's why the why is so powerful. But if you come in and you haven't done this exercise, you'll constantly be fighting your motivation and your reasons for doing it. So absolutely, as a coach, this is the first session that I do with people, because there's no point talking about anything else until you get this right. It's at this point that you really start taking information. So what I've done is sort of broken these things down. So for the mind, it could be that breathing is important for you on your mind. So are you actually taking time to breathe? And if you're not right now, because everyone's got good intentions of breathing through the day, why don't you just diarise it right now or after this call and say, right, I'm gonna take time to breathe and I'm gonna allocate 15 minutes to do that because it's on my profile. It's a small improvement. It's something that I can do without too much effort, but it's going to provide part of the journey that I'm trying to create for myself. Similarly, is there one meal that I could improve this week? Is it consistency with breakfast? Is it making sure I've prepared my lunches? Is it making sure that I've got food for dinner? Is it just making sure that you're snacking the right kind of foods? Just pick one meal. Pick one aspect of that meal. Maybe try and go a week with only having a very small number of reds if you're having lots of reds at the moment. There's a number of ways that you can just slightly improve what you're doing. You don't have to tackle it all right now. You just remember I'm going to take the average age of this call to be 30. I'm just going to do that just because I can. You've got 60, 70, or with PH360 maybe 100 more years to actually master this and feel like you're doing everything exactly how you can imagine it. You've got so much time to work it out. The next 6 months is just the beginning and you can set up behaviours for life. But don't worry about trying to get everything done in the first week. Just take one thing at a time. With exercise, the recommendation is to just increase by 10%. And if you're not doing anything right now, increase by 10 minutes. So 10% could be I'm going to try and go 10% further. For my 2K walk, I'm going to do 2.2 kilometres. For my 2K walk, it might be that you want to go faster. So in the same amount of time, in a shorter amount of time, you go the same distance. It could be that you add some variety. It could mean you do something different, which would be enough for a change. Okay, so anything can be done with the fitness. Is there an aspect of your home or holiday timing that you can change today? As far as place goes, all of these items are so important for your overall health, and this will be, I'm sure, discussed and helped through with the coaching course that's coming up, which is great. Could your house be a little bit tidier if you're a tidy type of mind? Have you actually planned to have a break during your best break week? Have you made those types of changes yet? By putting one day in this year, in that week where you can actually get some rest and recuperation in the time you're supposed to, that's an improvement on last year, and that would be great. Are you focusing on peaceful relationships in your life today? Are you surrounding yourself with people that make you feel good? And are you being expressive with those people who don't, or are you limiting your time with them because why would you want to feel bad? Surrounding yourself with the people who make you feel good is going to make all of this easier as well. And is there something you could change about your daily tasks to align better with your brain? So that's fairly self-explanatory. And then finally, could you measure more frequently to stay more conscious of your progress? So as far as the Kaizen principle goes, maybe measuring yourself every 2 weeks, to give you that immediate feedback of what you're actually achieving. Now, that may not be functional for everybody, and some people may just want to go by the feel of their clothes, and that's also great. However, definitely every 2 to 4 weeks, if you're doing this well, you want to be measuring because it'll change some of your foods, it'll change some of your profile. But that could just be committing to measurements with a friend, with a coach, could be your Kaizen for today. Okay? So that's the major stuff. I'm just going to go back to this major screen here. And so the major things I want you to do is to firstly find that why. Once you can find your why, all you have to do is focus on that purpose daily. You have to put that list in front of your face and say, what am I choosing today? This or that. And the or that, the or negative stuff, is really where you get legs in this exercise. It's everyone can kind of say, yeah, I want to feel fit, I want to feel confident, until that is contrasted with the intensity of that negative emotion. You don't realize what you're missing out on by not doing the behavior today. Carry out the behaviors that bring your important results. So, and PH360, this is what it's designed to do. It gives you what you've actually got to do to achieve what you want. You've just got to get it done. And the clients that I find get the best results, they are the ones that do the behavior. Every single person who I've got about 100 clients using PH360, those people who follow it the best, without doubt, get the best result. It's incredible. And know that challenges are coming to make you stronger as well. The challenges are critical. If you don't get challenged, then you're not actually pushing yourself. Every single person on this call should be thinking about their body as a performance machine, okay? Rather than just trying to be a weight loss machine, start thinking powerfully. You want to be a performance machine. The best athletes in the world are constantly challenging themselves, and that's how you get better. The only way you are going to get better, they all started as infants not being able to run at all, but they just did better and better and better. Just consider yourself, if you don't consider yourself an athlete, consider yourself like an advanced child who needs to work on their behaviours to slowly increase and slowly outperform their previous self so that you can become your own personal athlete as well, okay? So with that, I'm going to finish up. Hopefully you got some really valuable stuff out of it. The major things that you want to focus on is your why. You want to understand the difference between pleasure and pain, and then you really want to know what your Kaizen is. What is that? What are the behaviors that are going to create that constant state of perfection, that continual improvement for you? And if you follow that and you find that your motivation starts waning, that's okay. All you have to do then is redo this exercise with new words that really get your juices flowing. If this doesn't give you motivation, it's not because there's a problem with you or there's a problem with the exercise. It just means that you're not getting to the bottom of why you actually want to make these changes. And
Wow, Cam, this is amazing. This is so amazing for us to be able to work with this over the next 6 weeks. Thank you for being here. I mean, personally, I could do anything for 5 minutes. Like, if I thought about it, it's just a 5-minute choice. And I know that, like, you could be walking longer or whatever, but just in that moment, like, it's like, I'm only doing this for right now. I mean, just for 5 minutes. I'm going to make this 5-minute decision, and I love that. That is so amazing, and thank you so much. Diana, did you have anything you want to share before? You guys, we are going to be having questions. If you guys have any questions for Dr. Cam, this is our one chance, not our one chance only, because Dr. Cam, for all of you over in Australia and on that side of the world, Dr. Cam is going to be teaching the PH360 courses for personal foundation experience and the health coach course. And that's for health professionals as well as people who are just really excited about epigenetics and learning more about their health. So you will get to see him more, but today we're going to take some questions in just a couple minutes. And so, Diana, did you have anything you wanted to share before we take the questions?
Yeah, Cam, I wanted to clarify something. So you began with the how and why. So we really went over the why very well, and that's great. I really appreciate it. I'm feeling very clear on my why. And so when you were saying take the steps, that's what you would consider the how, correct? The how is the steps that you take. And then what's the what? The what is like the simple explanation of it without the feeling?
No, the what is the objective quantifiable change that you see, like weight. It's like the what I want is
more tone.
The what I want is 10 kilos loss. The how is I have to exercise right and eat right. The why is because I want to feel amazing. And what you'll find is that the why is actually the reason that you're there. It's not the 10 kilos, and that people will actually feel like they thought they were going to feel at 10 kilos less, but they feel it 3 weeks in, because they're doing all of the things that create that why. And the what actually disappears, because really, I know people who are 38 kilos and they're incredibly unhappy with their body, and I know people who are 100 kilos and incredibly happy with their body. You know, it's got that number actually means nothing. All that matters is how you feel about where you're at and your behaviors and your thinking. So I've actually stopped weighing a lot of my clients. The only reason I would weigh them is to put their data into PH360. But understanding that people are trying to get towards a feeling rather than something that actually is tangible to you but not tangible to somebody else, that's actually the magic. Like, it's otherwise we're going by someone else's parameters on what is valuable.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cam, for clarifying and explaining all that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so basically, we are at the end of our time now, you guys, and so thank you so much, Cam, for being here, and we're so excited to have you on board with PH360, and thank you for just everything that you contribute to what we're doing.